Welcome to Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. Your Real Money Talks host, Laurel Langmeyer, gets straight to the point about what it actually takes to make money and build lasting wealth in today's changing economic climate. If you're ready to get the financial results you've always dreamed of, keep listening. Real Money Talks is the right place for you. And now here's your host, Laurel Langmeyer.
Hi, this is Laurel. You're back at Laurel's Real Money Talks, and it's exciting to be with you today. We're going to do a little off topic. So it relates to how do you make money, keep money, invest money, and with a team, but this has more to do with you. So way back in the day, 2002, I was being mentored and coached by Bob Proctor, and he's still, working to get that farm girl from Nebraska, low money conversation out of me. And he said, you know what, Laurel, you need to come to Toronto and you need to hang out with people who actually are millionaires and understand like what we do and how we do it. So I got on a plane, flew to Toronto, Canada. And we sat around this big dining room table and we worked and we worked and we worked. And he said, I brought you here for a reason, to show you what support looks like and a team looks like. And people gave us coffee and some, little snacks in the morning, and then they took it away, and then they came back for lunch, and then they took it away, and then they came back for afternoon, some refreshments and took it away, and then dinner and then took it away. And what I noticed was they were being totally taken care of us. He had people working in the lawn and cleaning the pool. He had people like doing dry cleaning and running errands and groceries and coming and going. So noticing what life looked like being supported, where you could 100% focus on what it is you're doing without any disruption, any chaos and noise, was like fascinating. Changed my life. Never did any of those chores since. Actually, I didn't do all of them before then, but clearly took it to a new level. Out of that day became this extraordinary program called the Expression of Your Power, because you all express your power in different ways. Some of you mask behind it. Some of you hide behind it. Some of you don't even know the power that you have. And I live confidently in my yes energy power. So throughout that day, Bob and I collaborated on our work, right? The work that I have done on experiential learning and curriculum design for adults, and his work on the mind and understanding the whole millionaire structure from Carnegie and Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich. And together we just had this extraordinary day, collaborated on putting this program together. And then several months later, we flew to Chicago to Nightingale Conant to have the most extraordinary, again, experience of recording a highly done professional product. Still today, this is still highly regarded as one of the most awesome programs that I've ever done. And we use it for our Mindset with Money program. So part of the whole plan and is this what we called our creative strategic process. It was a CSP, and our creative strategic process was really a collaboration of both of our minds and how we think and what we do now. Since then, I have ramped up the speed of what I know that I can do to help you figure out your conversation about money, which is get evidence. The faster I teach you how to make money, which I can do in a few hours, easy peasy, then you have to reconcile the fact that you've made money. You no longer have an odd relationship to money. You no longer have money that's not available to you. It's just, you have to reconcile now. It's the most awesome experience. But back in the day, I didn't know that. So I took you through a little longer process. This still for anyone, whether you want speed in changing your mindset, whether you want to really thoroughly think through and do some, regression work on it, it works. So on page 7 of the Expression of Your Power is this awesome creative strategic process. So I'm just going to walk it through. There's 12 steps, and I'm just going to take some moments. So those of you that have a notepad and paper, you can get that. And then I will actually put this graph of these 12 steps into the gifts page of my podcast. So you go to asklaurel.com/podcast gifts and get this grid of how you get results in your life through the creative strategic process. So number 1 is what Bob teaches his best, which is your thoughts that cause feelings, that cause a behavior, that cause a result. See, a lot of you are not in control of your thoughts. You do odd things. You just allow other people, honestly, to, be in your brain, and you react to what's going on versus control what's going on. So your thoughts actually create a feeling in your body, which then generates some behavior that generate a result. So Bob does this as a little stick man, and he's brilliant and he's known for it. And it really is setting the the foundation for our creative strategic process. Now, if you carry that over to step number 2, the feelings that cause that behavior, that cause the result, are really coming from your subconscious. See, outwardly, you're conscious. You could say, well, I'm going to be wealthy and I want to be rich and I want this and I want this. That's your conscious, but there's this muscle that's below that we call your subconscious that's energetically projecting what's really real for you. And that is where your result comes from. So knowing versus hoping is a really big distinction in your subconscious mind. So your subconscious, you can start identifying what's controlling your subconscious by doing a few things. So again, I hope you have a pen and paper and you're taking some notes. So your subconscious, you can start identifying, here's my simplest activity, is when you say yes to something, right? You purely are a yes consciously. Notice in nanoseconds, all the little excuses, I call them, that come up, like literally nanosecond excuses. Well, you can't do that, and you can't do that. And just notice there's a pattern. Start writing down those nanosecond things that have you want to reverse your yes to a no or a maybe or I'm not ready or whatever idiot excuse that you use, because it is ridiculous that you use them. And just notice it. Notice what's always up for you and start writing it down. Now, as you go to number 3, that is your present belief system. Believe it or not, you can say, no, I said yes, and I do that. Yeah, and then what's the result? You come up with all these reasons why it's never going to work for you, and it doesn't. So that's your present belief system. So now you say, well, what the hell am I going to do with it? So then you go to number 4. So when you let the outside world control you, right, and that's your what we call your starting point results, is because you've allowed other people and other reactions and other beliefs to control you, right, that cause a thought, that cause a feeling, that cause the reaction. So you've got to get really real with yourself to say, so this is what's going on, and these are the stories I'm telling myself. And I'm just going to call them stories because they are. And it's a lot of noise and chaos, which we're getting to next. At some point, you have to make an alternative choice to it. So that's why I want you to write it out. I want you to notice all these yeses. I want you to say yes more than you ever said in the next week. And then notice all of the nanosecond excuses that come in to say, yeah, but you have that, and then you have that, and then this. And notice what you always use as your edge to get out of things. It's, I'm not ready. I don't have time. I don't have the money. I have kids, blah, 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 blah. Start writing them down and get a pattern. Then what you do in this, number 4, is you start looking to say, okay, this is what I say. What's the opposite and present tense of what I want it to be? And it's not that. So if you say, well, I'm not ready, then your opposite present tense new belief would be, I'm ready and available at all times. Sort of like I said in The Secret, money comes easily and frequently. Well, the internal dialogue at that point, well, prior to The Secret, was, money's never available, it's not frequent, and it's hard as hell to make. So you've got to have a counter opposite present behavior. Now, if you go to number 5, you'll see a little circle in the grid, and it says 85-15. So 85% of your behavior and result is driven by this noise, and maybe 15% of a result leaks out just because you got some muscle and grit and you're willing to work your ass off. So 85% is what I call the chaos and the noise. And most people live in chaos and noise. You walk around with reactions to everybody needing you and texting you and emailing you, and all day long you're just reacting versus driving forward. This is the life I'm going to have, and I'm going to create it. And I'm going to hire somebody to handle all the reactions and the recovery of what I need. So you got to get really clear that you're causing whatever you have in your life to happen at this moment. Now, number 6 goes into some assessment. So what are you hearing? You're going to gather information, and then what is it that you really know? So again, what are you hearing in your dialogue? Now, this is where I encourage you to find somebody to give you feedback, because the closest people to you, now they can't be your lover or your significant other or your best friend that actually has the same drama you got going on. That's why you're best friends. This has to be somebody that's accountable, that's hearing you objectively and saying, really, like Dr. Phil style, right? How's that really working for you? So this is what you're hearing, saying. This is the information you're gathering and noticing it's not working. And I really want you to micro detail where the breakdown happens and where is the biggest excuse of your life. And then go to what you know. What you know is that's not the truth. That's just a story. And you're starting to disengage. Now, number 7 is you'll see we are going to isolate that story out. And the story has to be highly known, highly documented. And then you're going to tell a lot of people about it. You're going to tell everybody, stop me from doing this. I'm absolutely done with that. It's not serving me. It's been an interesting excuse, it served you in some way. That's what you got to get. Like staying safe, staying in your story, staying in reaction has served you in some extraordinary way. That may look like it served you by you get to control more. I know that one, that's me. So it could have served you by some odd safety mechanism that you believe something's going to happen if you do something else. You know, I look at investing strategies, and many people stay in the market because that's just what people do. And so to step out and do, you know, an off Wall Street asset behavior is completely counter to what anything you've ever known or done. So you have a story, an excuse of why you can't do it. Well, my significant other, well, that's not the truth. Have you ever educated them? And have you ever been in real conversation? And can you take like one small step for 10 grand or some small amount and do a first deal outside of what you're comfortable with? So the story keeps you stuck, and isolating and knowing what it is and realizing that that's not what you want anymore is our transitional pivotal point right there. Then number 8 is when we start the transition of new creative strategic process behavior. So you're starting to listen more to who you are and what you do. You're learning that there's certain triggers and things that cause that behavior to happen. And then you get a new outcome. You get a new direct outcome from it. And then from that, you really start documenting what's the new story, what's the new belief system, what are the new language patterns and words. And this does get into linguistics and NLP, and it's why I love coaching people through this. And then number 9, you start coming out of the other side with this new belief system. Now, here's the truth, and like I said on The Secret, internally you're going to say it, like money comes easily and frequently, like I said in The Secret. And internally there's a part of you that's like, that's a freaking lie. Like, that's not who I am at this moment. I have this other strategy that I work with a lot of people on when I'm helping them learn to make money, is you're going to act as if, not fake it till you make it, because that's some fraudulent bullshit language in there, but like you're going to act as if you're the best in class, because one day you will be. And until you behave as if you are, it will not occur for you. So your new belief system is you're going to act as if and be as if you are what you want the new story to be. So then you start the breakthrough. You have a new experience. You have a new story. You're delineating that old story out, bringing the new story in. And there's this internal tension that's going to go on. This is a pivotal part. Step 10, I think, is your breaking point. You're either going to go backwards and break out back to where you were, or break through to your new place. And I know a lot of you hate that word breakthrough. I do too, but we used it. Remember, this is, 2002. Still the most brilliant work I've probably ever done, Bob and I together. Then number 11 is where the new belief is 85%. The new story is what you live and you drive and you feel, and it actually changes your subconscious. Now, it only takes about 21 days to do this whole thing, right? 21 days changes your DNA. It changes that whole structural thinking as long as you're diligent about it. And then only 15% is left. So here's the truth about this. You're never going to totally delete it. I think whoever teaches that is wrong. You're going to atrophy it. It's still going to be there. Every once in a while, you might get triggered and ping it, but you want to have the skills, tools, and team around you to say, really, here we go again? Like, come on. Like, my husband and I do this with each other really, really well in a really healthy way. Him to me in an extraordinary way. And it's just like, really? No, that's not what we're doing anymore. And then number 12, you come out on the other side with new starting points, new thoughts, new ideas that cause awesome feelings, cause new results, cause like new actions. So this results causes actions comes from your language, comes from your thinking. I call it my RALT model. It's powerful. And it causes you through a very creative strategic process. And I would invite you to do this with other people. Do it with a mastermind of 4 or 5 people. And all of you get really candid and honest and kind of ruthless in a healthy way with each other to say, I'm going to hold us so accountable. That's why I call my company Live Out Loud. I'm going to hold you so accountable to what it is you say you want that until you tell me otherwise, I'm right there and we're going for it. So I invite you to get accountability partners, take advantage of this, go to asklaurel.com/podcast gifts and re-listen to the podcast with this grid in front of you. And if you want the product, I'm going to put it as an offer on the page. It's usually $199. I usually don't give an offer in my podcast, but I'm going to today. I'll let you have it for $79. 6 CDs, a workbook. Every year people call in and say, can I have a new workbook? We send it out for free because I think this is, it's a capacity growing activity, something you need to do with yourself every year. Continue to grow, continue to accelerate that conversation to the person that you totally deserve to be. So if you want a private conversation about this, you want to ask me more, go to asklaurel.com, put your name, phone number, and email, go to the questions section and ask a question, put in a comment, and let's have an extraordinary year together. Have a great time. This is Laurel on Laurel's Real Money Talks, signing off.
Thank you for joining Laurel for this segment of Real Money Talks, how to make money, manage money, and invest money. To continue this new conversation and to find free resources to support your wealth creation, visit asklaurel.com/podcast gifts. That's ASKLORAL.com/podcast gifts. Thanks for listening and join us again soon. New episodes are released every week.